The world had been turned upside down again, and again, and again, and again, over and over, as the realizations washed over them. From the outset, their lives had been completely changed when Jesus called them to come and follow. It was hard, to be sure. They'd left a lot behind. But there had been a cause, a purpose higher and greater and deeper and more joyful than anything they had ever known before. Then there was the arrest, the trial, the crucifixion. Jesus was dead. It was all over. The world turned upside down again earlier that day when the women had come saying the tomb is empty. Had Jesus' body been stolen? Where was it? They'd fled from the cross. They hadn't seen him die. Could it be that he had not died? No. He was dead. That was one thing they were sure of. Jesus was dead. And here they were, huddled together in fear. They'd locked the door behind Thomas when he went out. And then, there he was. Jesus. No, really, there he was. He said, "Peace be with you." He showed them his hands and his side. They were overjoyed. Jesus was alive. He had risen from the tomb. He spoke and said, "Peace be with you. As the Father sent me, so I am sending you." When he breathed on them and gave them the Holy Spirit, when he breathed that spirit of forgiveness on them, the world turned upside down again. Of course, when Thomas came back, they told him all about it, and he had questions. What had happened? When did Jesus appear? What did he say? How did he get in? How did they know it was him? Could he really be alive? We wouldn't have believed it if we hadn't seen it, they told Thomas. We wouldn't lie about this, bro. Just over a week later, Jesus appeared again in that locked room. Thomas saw him and heard him say again, "Peace be with you. Peace be with you." Jesus knew what Thomas needed. He said, "Put your finger here. Look at my hands. Put your hand into my side." No more disbelief. Believe. And Thomas believed. He responded in awe and wonder, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus had a question. "Do you believe because you see me? Happy are those who don't see and yet believe." Do you believe because you see? It's a valuable question. When the world is turned upside down, humans look for certainty. When we are in the middle of a slow motion disaster like we are now, we have a lot of questions we would like answered. Thank you very much. We would like to know when this will end, and if we are going to come out okay on the other side, and what we can know and do and accomplish in the meantime. We'd like to know if we're ever going to get a good night's sleep and why our feelings are swinging around like some kind of crazed chimpanzee on a rope, anxious, angry, numbed out, hypervigilant, weepy, sad. We look for answers. The news from Washington or from the governor. We go on social media and see what we need to be doing actually is cleaning out our storerooms and writing a novel and getting in shape and making the most of our togetherness and journaling our solitude and signing petitions and not under any circumstances cutting our own hair. If we work from home, we're told how to set up workspace. If we're teachers, we're supposed to become wizards of technology, engaging the entire classroom from a distance while still making sure our own children are learning something and not just vegging out in front of a screen with yet another bowl of Fruit Loops. If we're church leaders or musicians or worship planners or educators, if we are pastors, we only need to learn 1,000 new technologies while still providing a ministry of presence and fantastic online worship. And if we're pastors, we also need to reach out to every member and stay in touch with our colleagues to support them and figure out how to do pastoral care on the phone or on Zoom and go to all the webinars that tell us how to cope. And oh yeah, don't forget to practice good self-care, because you should also be taking time off and being good to yourself. And then Jesus shows up. Jesus shows up, and he is alive. Jesus shows up, and he is alive, and he begins to speak. Jesus shows up, and he is alive, and he begins to speak, and he says, peace. 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 He breathes peace. Remember how to breathe? Peace. Happy are those who don't see and yet believe. Friends, your distress is normal. It is a normal response to an abnormal situation. Your questions are to be expected. Anyone would have those questions. Your fear is real, and so is the anxiety and the frustration and the uncertainty. We're all feeling that way. You do not have to be heroic. Maybe just be as kind and patient as you can. You do not have to train for a marathon. Maybe just step outside, walk to the curb, and breathe in and out. You do not have to write a novel. Maybe just write a letter or a note to someone you love. You do not have to be extraordinary. Just be you. Even when we are shut up inside our houses, even though we may feel fearful, Jesus shows up. The Holy Spirit, the breath, the Comforter is here. Jesus, our risen Lord, is with us. He gives us peace, and we can share it. We receive forgiveness, and we can give it. He is alive, and we have life. We are together through his Spirit. We are made one in his peace. We can rest for a moment in his presence and say, my Lord and my God.